Okay, well, we are here, guys, and I'm not gonna say we because it's actually just me. I'm not sure what's going on with Graydon, but he's not here at the moment, unfortunately. So, uh, just me to start off. But how bummed are we that we're not going to have any racing today? I guess we're not really surprised. At the end of the day, it wasn't really likely that we were going to have racing. There's not much uh, that we could really say. Um, Aside from that, and you know, what really say? What could we say really? It was a mess. The weekend was a mess. Uh, it did open up quite a debate whether or not we have racing. Hey, Maddie, how are you? Uh, do we have racing on dirt tracks like this? Obviously, there's a lot more criticism coming out than um, what we could have imagined, maybe. Obviously, people are not happy at a lot of things. There's a lot of people talking about, well, they should have gone to Eldora. They should have gone to an actual dirt track. And I said that way back when they first announced this. It's true. Why they decided that they had to go this route. We know Bristol's track history at this time of the year. They're definitely in the mood for trying something. Yeah, we're bored here too, man. Uh, it's I don't know where it's like out in Ottawa Valley right now, Matt, but it's been overcast, it's been cloudy, it's rained pretty much all day here too. So the understanding we're probably going to be getting a lot of the weather that Tennessee got up here in the Toronto area, but yeah, it's a tough deal overall. I am pretty disappointed. I was looking forward to being able to chat about the races. Graydon and I we're going to do some live stuff, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on with him. I hope he's doing okay and everything's fine. Maybe he's doing what I was doing a couple minutes ago and just having a snooze. It is the definite weather for that. I had a pretty bad headache getting up this morning. So, but I was excited. It was catch the Formula One race. Thought the Formula One race was, well, really great finish. A very, very good, uh, race between Hamilton and Max Verstappen. I do kind of wish that we had seen a little bit more of competition. Obviously, that's typical for Formula One, but I liked what I saw. I like the what I could see from at least the middle portion of the you know um, the grid. My guy Yuki Tsunoda, big fan of him. Watched a lot of F2 last year, and Yuki Tsunoda was by far one of the more impressive competitors. So to see him be able to be successful was pretty cool in his first race out. But we released our episodes with Gary Clute today because tomorrow, obviously, NASCAR releasing at 12 o'clock the truck race. And then at 4 o'clock, it's supposed to be the Cup Series race. It didn't make sense to compete with both of those tomorrow. Obviously, we would try and do a live stream after the races, but won't be able to do one during the trucks because obviously I'll be working. It is a bonus that I do get to work from home, but not everybody gets that opportunity. So, we can definitely try. We can definitely try to be excited about it, but at the end of the day, obviously, it does all come down to, um, uh, you know, it does come down to being able to put on a good product. And if they had attempted to do the race today, I think we would have been. And not only that, it's dangerous. It is a dangerous. Um, um, it would be dangerous for them to continue. The safety of the crowd and the campers and stuff. It was flooded, and just not a very smart decision if they were to continue with the race today. So yeah, so we released the Bun Sons episode yesterday. Did very, very well off of the start, and then of course we released our episode with Gary Clute. The other part of this today was, and like I said, hopefully I was hoping that Graydon would be here, but not sure again what's going on with him. He's not been able to connect with him for the past couple of hours, so probably just busy with family time. They went out and got sap yesterday for making maple syrup, so more Canadian stuff than normal. But one of the things that we wanted to be able to do was to show you guys what we've been working on. So there is a lot that goes into making the show. We don't put any money really into it. We have a Zoom account, we have some materials, but we don't want it to be all about money. And one of the cool things about this is that we've had a lot of people being able to help us out. We have a logo that's hopefully coming. I haven't heard back from the logo creator yet to see whether or not that is going to be available. We had somebody that was going to be able to do voiceovers for us as well. That has been delayed as well. So unfortunately, it's just kind of been there's been a couple of things that have slowed us down, but not stopped us. And so we have video production, with editing, audio editing, but then also going out and getting the interviews done and getting guests and being able to talk. We do have 2 guests that are going to be interviewed this week. We're hoping to get those interviews out on a semi-regular basis, meaning more than likely you're going to get an interview a week and then potentially some live streams as well. The interviews, we're going to try and cut down on the size and the time, mainly because, as a lot of people will know, it is very hard to keep people's attention spans. And so we want to make sure that we don't do something like we started off with our DJ Kennington interview. It was over 2 episodes. It was over an hour long. Not something that I think keeps a lot of interest. There's also a lot that we have to learn in terms of like the video production part of it. So what I mean by that is there is other things that we'd like to be able to do, but putting them in practice is a learning experience. I don't have any background in any of this, no background in tech stuff at all. But one of the things that we wanted to do was to do more of the NR, thanks M, do more of the NR 2003 broadcasting of races with fictional Pinty Series cars. That seems to get good reviews, and that's obviously a very positive sign. We also have a website that we've been working on, and this was going to be a part of a launch to show that. Obviously, with Graydon not here, it's a little bit disappointing, but and really not having a huge crowd. But for those who are here, thank you. We really appreciate it. We're going to show off kind of where we're headed and what we hope to be able to do here. So I hope it works. First off, that you guys are going to be able to take a look here and see. So one of the things that we were working on previously was to have our own site so that fans can check us out and find not just stuff about the podcast, but stuff about the racing series as well. Okay. And, that can be a little bit nerve wracking because it's not as simple as, yes, Maddie, you would be allowed to link it. Because it's part of the launch, we would definitely want people to use it and make make use of it. So one of the things that you'll know about us is that we focus mainly on the NASCAR Pinty series. That is primarily going to be the focus of a lot of the coverage, not completely the entire coverage, but there will be some more. So let me know, guys, if this is not working, but we have our Stickers and Scuffs podcast.weebly.com. Okay. This is our website. It still has a lot of stuff that needs to get kind of worked out, but primarily what you're going to have is a lot of great photos provided to us by Stephen Ellis, a good buddy of ours, and just a basic homepage, not much on here. We want to obviously include our boy Remax Jack for all he's done for us in providing us as our presenting sponsor. And we have a couple of other things hopefully in the works. It just seems to be a time-consuming process. So in here, you'll be able to find all about us, all about our partners, which we want to talk about as well. We have our partners on here. Obviously, we have another partner to add, who's my sister, actually, who's in the chat as our Instagram manager. But we'd have to get that all put together soon. Media, we have our episode list, which will have all of our previous episodes listed. Okay, and the type of episode it is. There's only one right now that is an audio only, but there's possibilities that we might encounter issues in the future. It also tells you kind of when they aired, who they were with, and what's really nice about it is that it is a nice counter, is that we've basically done 25 episodes now. We'll move on to episode 26 with I can't tell you yet, but we're hoping to have that. We have an interview on Tuesday with guest number 26 for episode 26, that is. And then, of course, you can find all of our audio episodes on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Breaker, on Radio Public. We still have not heard back from, oddly enough, we still haven't heard back from iTunes or Apple Podcasts, but I'd imagine it's very difficult to get on there right away. But you can also find all of our audio episodes listed on our website here, and you can play them straight on the website. Okay. So hopefully what you'll get is you'll get all of those added on each week. You have quick links to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, and then, of course, one of the cooler things that we have is our Stickers and Scuffs Iracing drivers. So you'll see we have Stephen Ellis, who drives our 46 car. Again, logo still to be determined here, but he participates in many different racing series and has been one of our first supporters. So we have a little bit of a profile on each of them. What we're planning to have is expansive results in terms of their qualifying and their race results, their point standings. We have Brendan Madonia, who runs our number 49, which we'll see a couple of times on Monday Night Racing in that racing league, which is actually run with professional race car drivers, which is it's so cool to see that. Jordan Buster, who's actually part of the later, I guess, addition to our team, but really cool to have him on as well. He drives the number 8 for us. Regular is his number 8. He has driven the 83 before. And then an actual drive, what's cool about Jordan and our other driver here, Jason Metcalf, both of them have participated and been team members for EHR in the NASCAR Penny Series. So Jason is our vet on the team with 13 years of iRacing. And, so we're hoping to get their results and everything like that on here. We also have friends of the show that we are planning. This is where you're going to see kind of stuff is not completely finished, but all of our race teams that we have at least had on the show before or what we support, you'll be able to, they don't have the links up yet. We want to go out and get permission from those teams to be able to add their social media and their websites on the page so that we can link them. Again, the idea is to hopefully get sponsors to do some. We also have our other podcasts and then of course, finally, our organizations that we're supporting. Obviously, Laps for MD is the biggest one out of there. Burn Out the Bully, Team Cat Rescue, that one's more personal to me. And then Autism Canada as a couple of them. So that is the website, guys, and that is launched. We want to try and get more things on the actual site itself so that you guys can, see it on a regular basis. There's the hope is to continue to build this and more pictures, video. It definitely takes a lot to keep it updated, but we're, more than happy to do so. We'll have more than likely the hope. Again, it really just depends on the season. If the season does take off in Canada, we do have some connections. We have some opportunities that have been presented to us to do stuff at the track. That would be something that we want to take. There's also opportunities to further. Sorry, there's also. I don't know why it's doing that. There's also opportunities for us to better ourselves with more live content. That's one of the things too that we've kind of learned is, you've got to do as much broadcasting or as many shows as possible to get an audience and build that audience. So for those who are tuning in, I see we've got a couple more people that have joined in. Thank you. I want to hear from you guys what you feel about the race not happening today. It's going to happen tomorrow. Both races tomorrow. What you're expecting. I don't really know what to say now. I think we can be extremely excited towards dirt racing happening, but without a doubt, the audience that they would have had is going to be gone. One of the things that they're going to lose is that you're going to have that March Madness audience that as soon as March Madness hits and it's on the TV, they're switching over. I think based off of, we generally get to see a lot of social media, and it does not seem that there's a very big positive energy towards the race that I personally thought we would see. It, for whatever reason, appears as if a lot of people are against the idea, which I was a little surprised with. I was. And, I mean, you can say that it's a shocker, but we know that fans of NASCAR right now are extremely sensitive to a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people who are very upset at the way NASCAR has looked, the NASCAR and how NASCAR is run and changes that are being made. I get it. I absolutely get it. Um, it is a tough deal. As somebody that's watched NASCAR for almost 20 years now, I can be honest with you in that it is really sad that it's gotten to this point where just people just seem to be miserable and hate the product, no matter what they do. Yeah, and it I think exactly what Matt you just said, in that it's the momentum killers are these rain delays. It doesn't help that there's so many things that get in the way of progress. And we here in Canada are really going to be in the microscope for racing this year, because unlike the United States, we're not getting 100 million vaccinated. We're not getting stuff reopening, and attendance is being allowed to move up. Motorsports is not getting any recognition, any support whatsoever from the government. Racetracks, motorsports in general, I don't know what the opinion is, but it doesn't appear as if anyone really gives a shit about the tracks, about the drivers, about the companies and the money that's spent on it. And that's just unfortunate, because it's very similar to what we've felt about the way racing has been treated in Canada for many years. They had a gold product with CASCAR. For so many reasons, CASCAR was golden here. It was fantastic. It was great product, beautiful cars, a huge field, lots of competition. But now we get to a point where NASCAR down south is not what it was. The money is not where it was. And you also look at the reputable brands that are no longer featured with racing. It hurts the product a lot. How many brands, and a great point that's been brought up several times is the lack of a consistent paint job, a consistent sponsor with one driver. Jimmy Johnson will always be kind of remembered as the 48 Lowe's car, because Lowe's was on his car, all the races for how many seasons he did race, from 2002 to 2016, 2017. All you were looking at was Lowe's with Jimmy Johnson. And now, the Ally sponsorship is a little bit different, but there's not going to be that. And in Canada, you do have some long staples in racing: Leland Industries, Castrol or Wakefield. Long time. Mopar was here forever, and we lost Mopar in 2020. And it doesn't appear that they're coming back. And even with that, now we're having some other things happen where we're not potentially going to see any Fords in the series. So yeah, Matt, absolutely. I believe FedEx, but I think we have to change that, because FedEx is not that this year. If I'm not mistaken, they said that they were lowering their races. They weren't doing every race this year, and that's why OfferPad came on board. So I think there might only be the one and I don't even know if Ally is doing the full season either. You take a company like Menards. Menards sponsored like 4 or 5 teams, plus they sponsor the Arca Menard series, and they sponsor an IndyCar, and they're backing off the amount of races. And we don't want that, obviously, but that's the reality. You go back and I just, to my left here, I have diecast from the early 2000s, and there's a reason why I tend to focus and keep those ones close, because they're not blank. The cars don't have missing contingencies. I like to bring up these examples. Maddie will like this one because it's a Gordon car. But when you look at the difference in just companies featured across this car now compared to cars of today, we'll take a couple different examples. Pepsi, GMAC, DuPont, Quaker State, Haas, Hendrick Cars, Fritos, Lowe's, Budweiser, Raybestos, Holly, 3M, Goodyear, Gatorade, Compcams, Bowman, EA Sports, Mac Tools, Aeroquip, Spicer, Moog, Clevite, Prestone, Simpson, Edelbrock, 76. Like, and then there's one I can't, Delphi, 1-800-MARROW2. Difference, right? If you take the ones from like nowadays, they've got 1, 2 contingency sponsors and no additional sponsors on the sides. It's a major difference between seeing that, again, taking the Target car, same situation. You see all of the, yes, that's right. Exalta is DuPont. I'm surprised why this is sealed, but another one, again, a lot of the sponsorship came with Target, but look at how many other sponsors are filled up on the contingency panels. Makes it look like a full race car. Again, it's a lot of these businesses are changing. A lot of businesses merge, companies merge, right? And that causes a lot of these situations. So something within their marketing and their promotion of NASCAR, along with the costs, need to change. Why is it that companies will leave to sponsor other sports? Viewership, cheap. Is the marketing what it was? Look how many different types of cars you can get back in the day, and now, oh my goodness, now they don't even release cars if they don't have enough pre-orders. And that in itself, and let's be honest, they're not the best. Lionel does what they can, but I think we can all agree that the quality is just not there. And it's sad because it matches the product that we've seen. I would say of the 2 organizations, CART and IndyCar, back in 2008, they merged when they were floundering and they were having problems. I would say they are in the best position right now to have a better year than NASCAR is. This schedule change, we talked about it yesterday. Is it too late? Is it too late? We waited and waited and waited. Again, I started watching in 2002, and that schedule stayed pretty well the same all the way up until 2020. No change. You dropped Rockingham. You added a couple of second dates. You added Kentucky. But at the end of the day, what made it better? Did any of it get better. Let's go back and talk Daytona, Talladega. Are those races better now than they were in the early 2000s? Was this Daytona 500 with Michael McDowell winning better than Michael Waltrip winning in 2001? Yes, obviously the ending, and take the tragedy aside. Was it a better race? Was it more competitive? Very big comparisons between the two in terms of a big wreck that takes out a lot of people. It seems like back in the day, the racing was more competitive throughout, week in and week out. You could have a championship favorite that would start 36th. I mean, I go back to 2002, man. You had Dale Jarrett, who'd qualify 1 week on the pole, and then the next would be 38th. And he'd be there with Jeff Burton and Jeff Green, and then Terry Labonte. You would have so-called top teams qualifying in the back, and then you'd have Johnny Benson or Ken Schrader up in second or third. So there needs to be some sort of a change. And this is where now they're putting a lot of stock on this new car. They're putting a lot of stock. We're going dirt racing. They're putting a lot of stock in a lot of different things. But is it too late? The likelihood that you're going to change a long-time NASCAR fan's mind on a lot of these things is very, very small. It's not going to be just, oh, I've been watching NASCAR for 35 years, and now all of a sudden we're going dirt racing, and I'm going to accept it. At the end of the day, NASCAR is going to try and do whatever they can to get ratings and to make it entertainment. Not racing. Keyword, not racing. Entertainment. I liken racing to WWE, and here's why. They do whatever they can to make sure that they get the most ratings and to make sure that their product is the most entertaining product out there. But when they do it, they do some of the most outlandish, stupid things that you'd ever imagine to try and get to that point. Why are we changing the schedule now? 20 years later, because they realized, all these same types of tracks doesn't bring people in. It doesn't put on a great product. There's a lot that I've seen as a race fan. A lot. But at the end of the day, as Nala comes to join, the product is racing. What do most people really like? Competitive racing. Why does NASCAR try and think that they can compare themselves to stick and ball sports? I don't know. It's not the same thing. Now, I will say, a lot of fans go to the short tracks. They go to the short tracks because it's their local product. Most people don't have the big giant speedways. Most people go to the dirt track. Same situation. Yes, Nala is always here, Emily. Anytime I do a live stream, she wants to be on camera just as much as I do. Right? Right? And because Chester is too old and fat to get up here anymore. Yeah, he heard me say that. So yeah, there are a lot of problems that I see from this. There's countless issues. If you have tuned in today, I want to thank you for watching. Stickers and Scuffs podcast. I'm Cam K. My co-host, I did hear from him while we were talking, is really sick, unfortunately, and I'm hoping it's not from maple syrup. So really hoping my good buddy Graydon Bunn gets better and feels better soon. Hopefully he just didn't overdo it with the chicken, the Pinty's chicken over the weekend. But Chester better not be pooping anywhere other than his litter box, to tell you that. But yeah, so yeah, unfortunately my co-host is not able to be here. He's basically said he's sick as a dog right now. Which I understand. I didn't feel the greatest here. Yeah. Yeah, and I could go on and on, Matt, really. Listen, when you've been a fan for almost 20 years and becoming an old man, you want the best. And to me, the Pinty series by far still produces the best racing in terms of stock cars. So where I feel that NASCAR needs to go, and they're starting to look at it finally, is in the way of where the Pinty series races. Okay. Short tracks, and I'm talking real short road courses, but also street courses. Now, whether or not that is actually going to translate to rating success, I don't know. I think we can honestly say that at the end of the day, in Canada, all the races need to be on TSN. None of this Fox Sports racing anymore. That can't happen. The truck series needs to be on TSN, and I'm sure if TSN, yeah, back in my day, racing was better. Yeah, but if they were going to make this a better race, they're going to have better ratings. You have to put the product on a channel that people in Canada can get. Fox Sports Racing is available on one, if I'm not mistaken. It's available on one package for Rogers. And it's the most expensive package that you have to have. So already cable is extremely expensive. I think the rate that they're going to, where they're going to need to head with this is TSN and live streaming. No sport has done it to this degree yet. Yes, WWE is not considered a sport, but they did it right by having their own network. Okay. Now, that didn't last and they ended up selling it to NBC. But if you were to put all of the NASCAR products on one channel, Speed Channel, how successful was Speed Channel back in the day? You had so many different racing properties on one channel, qualifying practices, you had races. You also, in the offseason, they would put the cast car races on there. They would put IndyCar races on there. They would put races from overseas, the V8 Supercars. That's how I originally found the V8 Supercar series, the DTM series, Pirelli World Challenge, Formula One. They had all of those available for you to see it. Now it's like 15 different channels at 15 different times, different regions, different organizations. They can only stream this and they can only stream that. But if they do that, they can't have practice, or they do that and qualifying is on their paywall. It is the way of the future. And unfortunately, if NASCAR doesn't watch it, they're going to lose even more fans because of that. To me, I don't know if Maddie, if you came across this site back in the I'd say 2 or 3 years ago. It's called fanschoice.tv. And they started broadcasting the Pinty Series races for free. And also had Whelen Modifieds and Weekly Racing, and NBC came along and took it and put it all behind a paywall in their track pass and didn't make it available for us in Canada. People have told me, oh yeah, you can still get it. You just have to get a VPN and all that, which is great. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you still have to create an account. You still have to pay for it. So it still doesn't work. We've talked at length about live streaming for the Pinty series. It can't be competition for NASCAR's Cup Division, Xfinity, or trucks. So they won't do that. There needs to be an alternative. I don't want to have to, and that's the thing, is those truck practices that they had on Friday would not have happened if not for Pinty's. That's the reason that those truck practices were on TSN, is because of Pinty's. And I applaud them. And not just because they're our partner for the NASCAR Pinty series, but I applaud Pinty's for being like, no, we want to sponsor something different. We want to sponsor something new. Now, I imagine that they probably said that they wanted a dirt race, and NASCAR said, no, you're not going to get Eldora. You're not going to get Knoxville. You can have Bristol, and we'll turn it into a dirt race. I could imagine that was their call. Tony Stewart has been very outspoken about it. There's a lot of people that have been very outspoken about their decision to go to Bristol. I mean, myself included, I thought it was a stupid idea. You have countless tracks across America, Canada, Mexico that they could go to. Hell, they have tracks all over the world they could go to, but they go to their own properties because it benefits them. Right? They need to go back and start thinking about, okay, let's give back to the smaller markets. Let's give back to those small racetracks across the world. When we started watching NASCAR, it was all about the Busch and the Craftsman Truck Series. Why? Because they weren't going to the same tracks that Cup was. That's not really the case anymore. There's a lot of companion events. Let's be honest, though. No one wants to see Kyle Busch come in and dominate and win one of those races. I don't want to see any of those Cup guys in the Bristol race tomorrow. None. I don't care if it's Kevin Harvick, who I support. I don't care. They don't belong there. And there's been so many different positions to take about this. But what I'm going to say is compare it to hockey. Compare it to basketball. It was somebody else on social media basically saying it's like a LeBron James going to play a D-League game. Nowhere else in stick and ball sports are you allowed to do that. But in NASCAR, it's okay. Now, I'm not going to go and beat up and say that I don't like Kyle Busch. I don't like Kevin Harvick. I don't like this. I don't like that. It has helped in the past. It has. But I think you've got a good enough group, and specifically Xfinity, they have a very, very strong field. They don't need Cup guys there to get an audience. I think we saw that a couple of years ago when you had Tyler Reddick battling with Cole Custer for the championship. You didn't need anybody else. Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric, you didn't need Cup guys in those races. And even now, you don't need them. There's enough competition there that the races are good without them. Where NASCAR needs to worry is the severe lack of teams and team owners coming into the sport. I don't know whether we're going to ever see a team that comes in from the ground up and makes it all the way up into Cup and becomes successful. Now, I know Matt Cowlig and that team, they're trying, but again, how many of those sponsors are his own businesses? And that's dangerous. because we see how much that kills race teams. You know, time and time again, we've had companies that, come in for a quick couple of races, and it kills it. It does. But overall, the cost of racing is so high, and you have to have multiple cars. You have to have a team. You have to pay for all those team members. You have to pay to get them all to the racetrack. You have to pay to put them all up at the racetrack, unless they camp or they drive themselves in. Or, and I know they're trying to eliminate that by doing the one-day shows. Practice and qualifying needs to happen. I don't know why they're so against doing a simple, even take this Bristol. Okay, why can't they do heat races tomorrow? If the weather's supposed to be so much better and they're going to do the 2 races tomorrow, heat races should not take that long. And obviously they want to give the teams as much time as possible, but it's not fair to those other people that drag themselves to the racetrack, like the Jessica Friesens, the Ryan Newman team. Norm Benning. I think Benning is actually going to be able to race, but Jordan Anderson. These guys drag themselves to the team, that the tracks. And again, I feel like they've completely screwed over Jordan Anderson and the Bassett's, Mario Gosselin's team, for having another entry, but no points, and they can't participate because they won't qualify. Qualifying is what? 1 to 2 laps. You're telling me you couldn't do 1 to 2 laps hours before the race? The race doesn't even start until 3 or 4 o'clock now. Do it at 9 a.m. Qualifying is done in the hour. Done. Then you know who's making the race. They're making it way more complicated than they need to. And they're hurting the people that they need to keep in the series. I think they made that whole story about Jessica Friesen, like they did so much promotion about it being a husband and wife making the race for the first time in 50 years, and she doesn't even make it. Like, and that's kind of what I thought right away when they announced that she was going to be racing. I'm like, why? You don't know that she's going to be racing. So now I'm looking at that going, okay, us in the Pinty series, we need to be getting Stuart and Jessica together. They both have driven at Oshwegan Speedway before, so they can do that. They could easily set that up. Stuart was going to run the race before. Stuart was going to run the 26 Mr. Transmission car for Scott Steckley last year, before the race got basically we lost most of the season because of COVID. I don't even know where we're heading this year, really. Sunset Speedway is supposed to open up the season instead of CTMP, because we're not going to have a May 2-4 Speed Fest. The likelihood that we're going to have fans at the Sunset race is more than likely a 0. We're almost in April, and we're not even close to getting people in my age group close to getting vaccinated. They've had some vaccinations for the older, folks, but they just kind of lowered it to the age of 70. So, and again, knowing them, they'll put restrictions on the racetracks despite it being outside and having probably the best ventilation that you'd have anywhere. I get businesses not being open, but you're outside at a racetrack where you can sit as far away from other people as possible. And that's not something they've thought of yet. And yet it's revenue for these. We spoke with Greg McPherson from Inside Track Magazine, and we asked him, is this like, if we do another year with no racing, is that death on a lot of these places, a lot of these tracks, a lot of these teams? Yeah, it is. And it's painful to hear that. If you're new to the channel, make sure, please, that you subscribe. Give us a like. We've got 4 likes right now. Let's get that up a little bit. We really appreciate that. That'd be awesome. And more subscribers, man. That would be awesome too. You know, we went up quite a bit. We've got episodes. Like I said, we released our episode with Gary Clute today, so make sure you check that out on our channel. The Bunn Sons and our interview as well is now both are available. That's great. We're really excited that we've gone up in all of those subscribers and viewership. It's fantastic. Really cool to see that. And my cat is playing with a box right now, so that's what you might be able to hear in the background. But we're really enthused by the love and appreciation that we've gotten from people. It's been awesome. You know, as a Canadian podcast, racing is not normally the first thing you think of when you think of Canadians. Normally think of hockey, beer, and maple syrup. But we're not just about that stuff. We love our racing. You'll ask most people what they'd be doing, and they'd be watching the hockey game. Well, if a race is on, I'm sorry, hockey goes behind that. There's a couple of people here, though. I think Maddie, he sometimes puts racing before, or his hockey before racing. If the Leafs were in the Stanley Cup playoffs, if they were in the Stanley Cup final, then yeah, maybe that would go over it. But I know that that's not likely to happen, so I don't have to really worry about it. But yeah, we really have a lot to hopefully have to look forward to. You know, as I said before, man, the Pinty series is what we're going to focus on. We have really exciting fields of drivers. We did lose, however, a long time competitor. Not like we've lost him. He retired from the series after 38 years. 38 years. 38 years in racing in Canada. Kerry Mixie retired officially, and the O2 driver will not be at the racetrack anymore as an owner or a driver. If he's going to be there, it's purely for fun. He did say, though, that it's not goodbye. It's just a temporary leave. So perhaps he'll head back to the track, and we'll see him maybe in some late model races. I think we kind of could see it coming. Kerry Mix has put forth a great tenure in the Canadian racing scene as CASCAR. He's a former champion. The first CASCAR race, the first ever stock car race I saw in 2003 was won by Kerry Mix. And I saw Kerry pretty well be at the front every single time I did see a CASCAR race. So the legend has retired. We really do wish he and Amanda the best. Or Susan. Amanda, I don't know where I got that from. Susan Mix. We really do wish him the best. It'll be very weird to not think of Kerry Mix being at the track, though, because he's been there for 38 years. It'll be like the same time when we say like DJ or Scott Steckley eventually hang it up, or Jason Hathaway. They're on that same level. Mark Dilley, same. These guys have been around for so long. But we of course in the NASCAR Penny Series, we have some up and coming drivers, some very exciting young talent in Trayton Lapsevich. The names might be familiar. His brother Caden won the championship as a rookie, driving for the Lapsevich family team. And of course, his dad Jeff and Uncle Jim used to drive in the series, and his uncle Nick. So Trayton, 16 years old, going to be a good kid to watch. He's going to drive the 20 car this year for 22 Racing in kind of conjunction with RGC Sports. TJ Renomato and Mark Dilley are going to partner up with Dave White. So potentially that means no more of the Fords. Maybe they're going to Chevys. Considering that's where Dave White pumps out of his shop for his 80 car, I would tend to believe that we're going to see the 02 and the 64 in a Chevy, but I did not get a response back from Mark Dilley yet. So we'll have to see about that. We're going to have Trayton Lapsevich on our show at some point. We're also going to have Chantel Kalika from the NASCAR Pinty Series. Also, she's a brand new number 43 AGI Dodge to run. She comes out of the West and comes out East. I don't know if she's going to run this year, but we'll make sure to ask. We just had Gary Clute on the show. If you check back on the channel, you'll also be able to find interviews with Alex Tagliani, also Jason Hathaway, last year's 2020 Pinty's Fan Cave Challenge champion, DJ Kennington, two-time champion, LP Dumoulin, two-time champion. We have had Brett Taylor, who takes over the 3 for Jason Hathaway this year. So we're planning on getting Mark Dilley, TJ Renamato on there, Anthony Simone, Larry Jackson. So we still have plenty of names to come back onto the channel with for the NASCAR Pinty Series. But of course, we'll also sprinkle in some NASCAR Xfinity, Wheel and Modified, ARCA, and of course the Camping World Truck Series drivers. We've seen Rafael Lessard, Josh Williams have been on the show before. Also media members. We've had Adam Ross, Todd Lewis, Alan Bestwick also on the show. So if you can, guys, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to go for a little bit longer here, just a little bit longer, and finish up here talking again about what you'll find with the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with myself and Graydon Bunn. You can find us on social media at Stickers and Scuffs on Instagram. Also, of course, you can find us now at the _SNS_pod for Twitter, at KMK Racing on Instagram and Twitter. Our Facebook group is free to join. You don't have to do any sort of silliness to get in there. Just go and find a Stickers and Scuffs podcast. So I've got a cat coughing up a hairball right now. Beautiful sound for any of you guys that don't know what that sounds like. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a real honor to do these live streams. We hope to try and do more. The plan is for tomorrow, after the Cup race, to do another stream. Okay. I'm not sure when the truck race is going to finish. I'm probably still going to be working at that time. So I'm not going to be able to do a stream for the truck race, but the hope is, of course, for after the Cup Series, tune right here. Of course, if you subscribe and you turn on the bell for all notifications, you will get notified when we do start our live stream. We will talk all about more racing. If there's anybody else in the chat, I know we've had Matt, but anybody else, if you want to introduce yourself and let me know kind of who you are, where you come from, and what you like, we'd love to connect with you guys more and talk more racing. It is what we want. I don't care who you support. As if you support racing, you're a friend. If you and I, if we think different things, that's perfectly okay. We don't need to have one thing we're not going to accept is people coming on here and berating and bashing each other. There's too much of that in racing as it is. You can bash the people in charge. I guess that would be the one thing that you can do, and we'll talk about it for sure. But thank you guys for tuning in today. We've had a good amount of viewership. We're always hoping to get more, but we'll be back on tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow, the race is supposed to start 4:00. So hopefully we'll be here around 8:00 and we will chat then, everybody. So have yourselves a great night. Sucks that we weren't able to get racing, but if you can, check out our interview with Gary Clute on the channel right now, and check us out on social media. We'd be glad to interact with you guys and talk more racing. Have yourselves a great night, everybody. This is Cam K, and we'll talk with you tomorrow on our channel. Are you all right?